A pair of pointed women's shoes walked by. The shining shoes of a child skipped along behind. Then came a man's dusty boots. As she watched the boots stand a moment, toes pointed away from her, a penny fell onto the boardwalk with a quiet little clack. It spun for a moment, then fell onto its side between the heels of the boots. Evelyn watched the penny, fascinated by its bright gleam in the late afternoon sun. The man in the boots stepped away, leaving the bright piece of copper behind. Evelyn rose from the bench, the useless folder left behind, and bent to retrieve the coin. She stood and looked up, her eyes finding the boots and their owner a few steps away. "Sir?" The word came out as a whisper. Evelyn forced herself to speak louder, though why it mattered she didn't know. "Sir, pardon me, but you dropped this." The man paused, and when he turned, she took in several things at once. He was tall, he wore a stern expression, as though displeased with the day and everything in it, and his features were chiseled roughly, making her think he might well be made of stone. He looked like the unruly cowboys she had seen outside her window the night before, the same type of hat, dust-covered trousers, and broad shoulders. She'd woken when a group of rowdy men had stumbled down the street, singing raucously and using the worst sort of language. She shuddered and pulled the drapes closed, reflecting on how different this dirty mining town was from everything she had known in England. She swallowed her discomfort as the man looked from the penny in her hand, slowly upward to meet her gaze. A shock went through her, as though she'd fallen through ice and into frigid water. Never had she seen such clear blue eyes. Given the heat of the day, the cold sensation wasn't entirely unpleasant. One of his dark brown eyebrows raised. "Ma'am, were you speaking to me?" He didn't sound as heartless as he looked. The ground shifted, returning beneath her feet to hold her up. As it solidified once more, she held her hand out further, palm up with the penny in its center. "I believe you dropped this coin." He blinked, then approached slowly, until he stood only a foot away, and her head tipped back just enough to keep her eyes upon his. She was tall by English standards. He was tall by any standards. His gaze dropped to her glove, and his hand reached into his pocket. She heard the jingle of metal against metal before he pulled out a handful of coins and looked at them. You might be right." He offered her the barest of smiles, and that changed everything about his appearance. Quite suddenly, the stone face became kind. "But I can't be sure. Maybe you'd better hang on to it. In these parts, a penny found can bring good luck." Evelyn looked down at the penny in her hand, noting the dirt on the tips of her gloves where they had scraped the ground to lift the coin. And she burst into tears.